Hi everyone, my name is Harmony, and today I will be going over what taking the drug ketamine recreationally looks like in the body. So, first off, here is everything that I would be talking about today. We're gonna first go into a brief background of what ketamine is, then we're gonna talk about the pharmacokinetic factors, the pharmacodynamic factors, the drug effects, the physical dependence of the drug, and then we're gonna wrap it up with abuse potential. So what is ketamine? Ketamine was first synthesized in the United States in 1962 as an alternative to PCP. It was first used as a dissociative anesthetic for both human and veterinary medical practice before it became an abused drug. It's characterized by its ability to cause unconsciousness, amnesia, and analgesia when given medically. So let's get into the pharmacokinetic factors. So for absorption, ketamine is most commonly used in powder form, um, but it can also be administered through IV and also intramuscular. IV exhibits a rapid onset of action with the bioavailability being 99%. The intramuscular route provides a bioavailability as well of 93%. And oral taking ketamine orally has a significantly lower bioavailability due to first pass metabolism. Now, speaking of metabolism, ketamine is primarily metabolized in the liver by the enzymes CYP3A4, CYP2B6, and CYP2C9. Norketamine, being a major though less potent metabolite, is very important for the metabolism of ketamine. And the half-life of ketamine is typically 2 to 4 hours. For the pharmacodynamic factors, um ketamine is a non-competitive NMDA and glutamate receptor antagonist that blocks HCN1 receptors. It binds to the PCP binding site, and the main principal molecular target is the NMDA receptor for ketamine. Ketamine primarily exerts its analgesic, anesthetic, and psychomimetic effects via antagonism of NMDA receptors in the central nervous system. In the spinal cord dorsal horn, the antagonist effect on NMDA receptors results in interference with pain transmission, leading to profound analgesia and prevention of central sensitization. These effects lead to amnestic, analgesic, and dose-dependent anesthetic actions, as well as unique to ketamine dissociative states. The NMDA receptor is an ionotropic receptor for the excitatory amino acid neurotransmitter glutamate, as previously stated. Ketamine can elevate the levels of glutamate in the brain, stimulating synaptogenesis and elevating levels of brain derived neurotrophic factors. Several mechanisms may contribute to the behavioral effects of ketamine. One of these is namely increased glutamate release from cortical pyramidal neurons that leads to overactive glutamate transmission via non-NMDA receptors. That is saying a lot. So, to have you better understand the mechanism of action of ketamine, let's take a look at this picture and I'll walk you through it. So, at the very top at number one is showing the blockade of NMDA receptors of cortical GABAergic interneurons by ketamine results in less GABA release. Number two shows a reduction in tonic GABAergic inhibition of the glutamatergic pyramidal neurons. Number three shows enhanced glutamate release from the pyramidal cells, which then increases activation of postsynaptic non-NMDA receptors, as shown as number 4. 5 is the depolarization of the membrane, resulting in the opening of the voltage dependent calcium channels and stimulation of calcium mediated signaling pathways. So, hopefully, by looking at this picture, the mechanism of action makes more sense. So, let's go into the drug effects of this drug. The most common psychoactive effects include dissociation, positive psychomimetic effects, which means hallucinations or unusual thought content, and negative psychomimetic effects, which means blunted affect or emotional withdrawal. Ketamine has dissociative effects such as sensations of floating, bizarre distortions of body shape and size, and feelings of leaving one's body. Users may become agitated, aggressive, paranoid, and display dissociative type symptoms. The content of hallucinations may be unwanted, which are typically referred to by users as falling into the K hole, and in some cases can be significantly unpleasant. Repeated use over a long period of time significantly impairs both short and long term memory, visual recognition, and spatial working memory. Using ketamine for a long period of time can also cause several troublesome neurobehavioral slash neuropsychiatric effects. Acute and chronic use of this drug has been associated with impaired information handling and processing defects. Neuropsychiatric symptoms mainly characterized as schizophrenia like symptoms. So moving on to the physical dependent, there is evidence that ketamine causes a psychological rather than physical dependency. Ketamine use is characterized by binging. The drug is being repeatedly used until the user supply has been exhausted, is basically what that means. Withdrawal symptoms are fatigue, poor appetite, drowsiness, cravings, anxiety, etc. Like I said, it's more psychological than physical. Tolerance is going to be a more pharmacokinetic tolerance. Ketamine has an auto induction of metabolism or of enzymes, and it's a process where repeated administration of the drug causes the drug to speed up its own metabolism. So, to end this presentation, ketamine is addictive due to its anesthetic and reinforcing properties. Ketamine also activates the rewarding pathway in the brain, which influences users to continue taking the drug. And individuals with a history of substance use disorders are at a high risk for developing a ketamine addiction. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I hope you have a great rest of your day.